Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to welcome you everyone who are watching right now the weekly international webinar WIW in the fifth episode. And today we have titled Leadership Changes of Expectation in the 21st Century. And to facilitate the session, we are very delighted that we have with us Professor Dr. Aminul Islam, Professor of Finance Division, Faculty of Applied and Human Science, University Malaysia, Perlis. Sir, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Sir, the audience are waiting for you for your presentation to know more about leadership, and especially the title is very different today. That we have changes in expectations in leadership qualities. So I'm not taking any more time. Just over to you. The floor is up to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank Izaz and as well as Asif for inviting me, and especially the HRDi, Human Resource Development Institute, and Daffodil International University, Bangladesh, for inviting me to share some of my thinking, understanding, and ideas about leadership. We all know that leadership is in crisis, especially with industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution brought about a lot of changes in our life. That's affecting every individual in the world, starting from personal life to industry to nation to the global. All right, and then the fourth industrial revolution has brought about a lot of technological advancement and changes, with artificial intelligence and automation especially. Machines are taking over jobs of human beings. And we are getting stressed out of seeing how can we survive with the kind of situation we are moving in now. And added to this, the pandemic situation, COVID-19, has even affected our life in the organization, in our society, in the nation, and the world at large tremendously. The way we used to live, the way we used to lead our life, the way we used to work, the way we used to communicate and network with people, and all that has been affected. Thousands of companies worldwide had to shut down their operation, all right, due to the COVID. And many organizations is struggling. And leadership, definitely those are assuming leadership positions are having difficulties of meeting challenges that we face now. All right. So keeping these two scenarios in mind, first of all, the fourth industrial revolution, and number two, the pandemic situation that we are facing now. I have prepared my few slides to share with you my understanding, experience in terms of leadership and all that would be shared with you, inshallah. Give me a few minutes, let me share the slide with you. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. We can see your slides.
All right. Thank you. All right. That's the title we propose. Leadership Changes of Expectation in the 21st Century. So I will start from very basic of leadership. These are the three definitions that I choose. Leadership is about articulating visions, embodying values, and creating the environment within which things can be accomplished. All right, that is quite old definition given by Richard and Engel, saying that leadership is about articulating vision, creating values, and providing some kind of environment where the organization goals and outcome can be achieved. All right. And then Shane in 1992 has defined leadership is the ability to step outside the culture, something be different,
quite revolutionary definition. So he is saying leadership is the ability to step outside the culture, to start evolutionary change process that are more adaptive. So Shane is suggesting that leaders should not be living in the comfort zone. All right, so leaders are encouraged to come out of the comfort zone and going for challenging jobs. All right, and creating evolutionary changes inside the organizations. And Daft in 2011 has defined leadership is an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real change and outcome that reflect their shared purposes. So Daft has moved beyond that, beyond Richard and Shane, and Daft is arguing, advocating that leadership is basically influential figures. All right, so a leader should be able to influence, should be able to motivate people, should be able to lead people. All right, so any changes that need to be brought, it should be initiated by the leaders. All right. Now, when it comes to leadership, of course, when you lead, you need power. Without leadership must come with power and authority, because the question of influencing, motivating comes with the power. All right. So you can only influence people when you have some kind of authority and you have some kind of power in you. All right, so power and influence, these two comes together. All right, and that makes leader productive, effective, and efficient. Okay, now when it comes to leadership, basically a leader is equipped with few powers given, authority given. All right, and we divide into these two groups. We call it hard power and soft power. So hard power comes from legitimate power, where you are being appointed and you are given certain responsibilities, you are given authority to make decisions and all that. So that's legitimate power. When you assume any leadership positions, you are given the authority to reward people or punish people. All right. So that legitimate power, real power, and coercive power. So these powers are hard power, and this hard power do not really work always, at all time, at all places. So it has to be coupled with the soft powers. Okay, so we do have two categories of soft power. We call it expert power and referent power. So expert powers are the powers, basically a leadership ability, or capability or capacity to influence people. So it's about his knowledge, about his skills and all that, or that gives him the expert power. So he's an expert. People, followers, respecting somebody knowledgeable, somebody experienced, somebody wise, and somebody knows more than others. So that is expert power. The other one is the referent power. Hereby the leader become a role model. Right? So he become a reference. The leader become the reference point. So anything, it comes from basically the leader's behavior, leader's course of actions, leadership roles and all that. So the way we play our roles in a leadership position, the way we behave, the way we network with people and all that gives you the soft power. So these two powers got to be combined at most of the time. At certain condition, situation where the hard power is essential, but it may not work always, playing with the hard power alone. Or sometimes only soft power may not also work. So it has to be combined. Element of hard power and element of soft power. These two combination may work very well. Right? So that's leadership being sketched. All right. You can see the leader is in front and then everybody following. That's what we want. We want somebody to influence others, to motivate others to follow him. So this is the difference between a leader and boss. As we see, leader who has gone up and helping his followers to come up, all right? And then the boss is at the up, and these followers is the down. So that's a kind of bossy mentality where you get distance between leaders and followers. Leader work closely with the followers, all right? But the boss may not work closely. He use mostly the hard power. But the leader, he use hard power as it is needed, or he use mostly soft power to influence and motivate his followers. This is another example that portrays how a leader should be working. Leaders work together with the follower. But if you look at the boss, the followers are working and the leaders are not working, right? He's pushing them to work. That is bossy mentality that many leaders have. So when you look at leadership that we work with, there are many who are bossy, So we do not want that kind of mentality or behavior whereby they are too bossy and they do not really work. They rather force people to work. They use legitimate power, the hard power, rather than using soft power or combination of hard power and soft power. This is another example of the leader and the boss. All right, you can see the leader is working with the followers. Yeah, the boss doesn't really work. He let others work and he just he just delegate the work and he just stay safe. This kind of bossy mentality. See, they are not the leader, rather they are the boss. Now, let me go through few leadership theories that we talk about before moving into the topic of today. The leadership theories started with the trace theory back in 1970s and 1980s. Trace theory started with looking at the person who is a leader and his behavior. That's the trace theory. So looking at the traits of a person and how he behave determines the kind of outcome you are going to get. Followed by, then we have a new theory after that we call path goal theory, whereby the leader will show you the path. The goal is being set and the path is being shown. All right, then you achieve what is being directed for it to achieve. All right, so path goal theory will classify leaders into 4 categories: directive leader, supportive leader, participative leader, and achievement-oriented leader. I think these topics are quite known to us and understood, so I'm not going to explain that more. Then followed by, we have a new, another theory comes up on discussion table of academics, that is charismatic leader. Very known, we know a person who is enthusiastic, very confident, and its personality and actions influence people. All right. So if you look at some people around us, we will call them, he is a charismatic person. Especially if you look at political areas, there are many charismatic leaders are there. When a leader just give this speech, people just follow on. When they give speeches, people start shouting slogans and all that. So charismatic leader is another category of leadership whereby leaders can equip with certain charisma to influence, motivate people to achieve the goals set by an organization. And after that, we have another set of theories. We call it transactional leaders and transformational leaders. All right. So transactional leaders, leaders basically lead primarily by using social exchange or transactions. All right. And transformational leaders are leaders who stimulate and inspire people. All right. So here, if we look at the 2 kind of leaders, one is charismatic leader, the other one is transformational leader. These 2 are the kind of leadership style that we would like to see. All right. But if you compare these 2, there are different situations. One is different kind of leaderships, but the kind of situation we live in now, it looks like it is the transformational leaders that we look forward. A person who stimulate and inspire people to transform the organizations, all right, with some kind of extraordinary outcomes. And then in 1990s, we have a new leadership theory. We call it leader-member exchange theory. This theory explains the relationship between leaders and followers very well. Okay, and here this theory advocates that subordinates or the followers would be divided into 2 groups: in group and out group. People who are close to the leader are classified as in group people, and people who are not close to the leader, they are classified as out group people. If you look around, leaders that we interact with, almost everyone has this kind of situation. You will see certain people will be controlling, the leader's movement. The leader is being surrounded by certain people. The leader likes them. The leader gives them the responsibility, rewarding jobs. They get promotions, they get incentives and all that because they are in group. Leaders like them, And the out group people will have distance from the leader. Somehow the out group people do not have any direct communication with the leader, or the leader doesn't like the people who are in the out group. All right, so it is just a formal relationship. So those people are categorized as out group may not have the opportunity to grow inside the organizations. So those of you who are now watching this session, you're with me. Basically, those of you who are working, you can look at yourself and you can categorize yourself whether you are in group or you are in out group. You are in group, then you are safe, you're enjoying your life, your working environment is different. But you are in the out group category, then definitely you are not enjoying your jobs, and your job is at stake. You are at the risk factor. You may not be surviving in that kind of organization for long. So when you are considered an out group, then you should be thinking of moving somewhere else, rather than wasting your time in an organization where you do not see any opportunity for you to go. Now, these are the old and new paradigm of leadership that we see now. In the old paradigm, when it comes to leadership, it's all about stability, control, competition, uniformity, self-centered, and we look at the leader as a hero. But now in new paradigm, it's not like that. It's no more like stability. Rather, we look at changes. It's because of the environment keep changing. We call it now hyper-turbulent environment. Things are changing too fast, and so much that even an expert have difficulty coping with the changes now. The change has become only constant. The thing that we see today, we may not see it tomorrow. As the COVID started, and many authors, writers are arguing that the kind of situation we used to see before COVID, we may not see the similar kind of situation after COVID anymore. It's going to be new normal, it's going to sustain, all right? So change has become only constant. There's no more stable organization. In the new paradigm, we do not see leadership to control the organization. Rather, we want them to empower. Empowerment become the key. Collaboration, working together, not competition. I know certain organizations, I know some universities and some industry where if the boss see a good CV coming in, if you find that he is going to be a competitor, the CV would be thrown to the dustbin, right? It doesn't go to the register. So it doesn't work that way, right? If you see somebody more competent, more qualified, has more capacity than you, rather than you should be just recruiting him and working with him, collaborating with him to bring out more changes in the organization. Okay. In the old paradigm, we used to look at uniformity, but we look at more diversity because now the external situation is so diverse. Changes are taking so fast, so we need more diversity in an organization. The organization become highly ethical, and the leader now need to be very humble. It's no more hero. Leaders are no more hero. They got to be humble because now with the social media and all, everybody can see everything at any time they want to. Okay, the lecture that I'm giving you now, I'm very sure that if you go to YouTube and find some videos, there could be more better lecture than me. That's what the world has become, So we cannot imagine or assume that I am the expert, I am the hero, I am the boss in this field. There's no such thing in the world anymore. So everyone need to be more and more humble. By right, the more knowledgeable you are, the more humble you are. The more upper position you assume, the more humble you should be, because you have to make sure that what you want is transferred to your followers. And that only happens when you are humble. So leader is somebody who can influence others and who has managerial authority, talks about it. Leadership is a process of leading group or influencing that group to achieve certain goals. Okay? Now, leaders and leadership, now everyone should have the opportunity, the right and responsibility to be a leader in their own life. So that's what we are seeing in the 21st century. Everybody should be given the right and responsibility to be a leader. So we take leadership of our own life, and when you work, we also take responsibility of our own work. All right. So building capacity become a norm now. Become a norm now. We have to continue building capacity in us so that we become a leader in one day. Now, what has changed? If you look at 21st century, basically a lot of changes in the workplace we see in many ways. Number one, career management and advancement down to the individual. It's no more up to the organization to train individuals. The individual has to take the responsibility. All right. So reskilling, upskilling, and all that become very important. And it has to be done by individuals, not leaving it to the organization. Constant need to refresh and update skill. That's what I was saying, right? Reskilling and upskilling. Increase interest in self-development and self-help. Soft skill, communication skills, people skill required to build for building business and client relationship. So soft skill become more important than the hard skills. The thing that we learn from bookish, the degree that you get from the university. Rather, it is important of having the soft skill, the way we communicate with people. Interpersonal skill, the leadership skill, the writing skill, the project management skills. So all those leadership skills become, soft skill become very important. Employee relationship become very important. Flexibility and versatility, all right, to balance up the work and life that we have now. And in this century also, we look at no jobs for life. No one work the whole life in one job. No more like that. Huh? If you look at 1980s and 90s, when someone has assured of a job, and he will think of continuing and finishing of his career in the same job. But it doesn't happen now anymore. So leaders have to take into account of that. Somebody working with you today, tomorrow you may not find him anymore with you. Or you recruit somebody, you train him, you become, the person become efficient, become proficient, become expert in the area where you want him to work. And then you find after 2 years somebody, because someone has given him more opportunity or benefits, he just leave you. All right. So there's no more jobs for life. Okay. Skill requirements are continuously evolving. Rapid change, pace of change, global workplace and migrating workers. Now even people can migrate from one country to another easily, as long as he has the skills necessary for him to work in different countries and different places. Okay. The pure academic degrees and skills not enough now. The paper qualification is no more enough. If you look back at 30 years back or 40 years back, the paper qualification was enough, but now it is not. So when we graduate from universities, then we have to continue with upskilling and reskilling and learning more soft skill and all that. That will assure us to get a job. And for leaders also, when you assume a positions, then we have to continue doing the reskilling and upskilling to make sure we stay where we are. Flatter organization able to adapt more quickly. Now it's no more vertical organization. We are moving a flatter organization. The networking and all that become very important. Strategy constantly under review with fourth industrial revolution and pandemic situation now. We have a strategy being set at the beginning of the year, and we see after 3 years it doesn't really work, it needs review, and after 3 months again it needs review, and the process continues. Okay, so it's no more like we take a 30 years plan or strategy and we continue with that. So definitely we have to formulate strategy, implement strategies, but it has to be under continuous review and updating. And the last one that I would like to highlight is no more a small area focused person is warranted anymore. So a person got to be multi-skills. So wherever we work now, in any positions, we cannot simply just work what we are prescribed to, So we need different skills in sustaining and maintaining the jobs we get. Okay, so multi-skill become important. We know there is a proverb in English, we say, jack of everything, master of none. That's the time we say that a person should be getting specialized and expert in one small area, but we don't say anything, something like that anymore. Now we want a person to be multi-skills, a person who can handle many things at the same time. That's the kind of person we look forward now. And the expectation has changes. If you look at third world population, they do not really want any handouts, they want tools and skills to help themselves. Like NGOs are working where they are working with the poor people or underprivileged people. They want to be helped rather than milk. There are complaints about NGOs saying that they are basically milking the poor. They are not helping the poor. We seldom see a poor becoming rich by through the NGOs, So they say that NGOs are basically milking the poor, not helping the poor. So there is a demand that they do not want the milk rather than they want the help. Okay. Disabled people do not want sympathy, they want equal opportunities, is being a slogan now. Sick people do not want to be wholly dependent on health professionals. They want to find advice and guidance, improving their condition through web pages. Many of us now, we go to internet and we try to find what is wrong with our body and what can we do to get cured, all right? And the older population don't want to block hospital beds. Rather, they want good healthcare and all that. These all are affecting organizations and the way we lead organizations, okay? So let me go into the topic for today, 21st century changes in expectations. So I will start from engaged employees. This is the first changes that is happening. Employees are engaged, or employees have to be engaged, all right? So the stretched and empowered. So everybody is empowered. We know that traditionally we give people the authority, or we give people the position without the authority, all right? We give them the responsibility without the authority. But it doesn't work anymore. When we empower somebody with certain kind of responsibility, it should come together with the authority. The person should be given the right to make a decision, rather than referring everything back to the leader. Rather, when he works, he should be given the opportunity to decide. Set the bar high and reward for excellence. So we have to set the target high, and anybody achieve more than what is expected, or anybody achieve what is expected, then it should be given rewards, all right? Allow people to make their own mistakes and let them learn from them. So rather than spoon feeding, we should allow employees to work on their own, let them do mistakes and learn from the mistakes. Make change and grow synonymous. Okay, synonymous. So that's what we want. We'd like to see changes taking place, coping, adapting with the changes of external environment, and organization keeps growing. Promote enthusiasm and positive thinking, ownership and accountability. That's very important. We see many organizations now, employees do not take the ownership. They feel like this is a workplace, I just come and work and get the salary, I go back. But we have the leaders. The leaders have to try to create a situation, environment, whereby every employee take the ownership of the organization. Wherever he works, he will feel this is my organization. Whatever I do, because I get the benefits from that organization. All right. So the ownership and accountability is there now. If you believe knowledge is power, share the information. All right. The leaders, many times, who are knowledgeable, doesn't really want to share all the data and information they have. But if you want to run an organization smoothly, because the social media and all other advanced technologies available, if you do not share, they will learn from somewhere. Rather, you should be the leader to share the information first with the followers. Take involvement in development and well-being of staff, which is very important. Staffs are the internal customer. Many times leaders do mistake here. Leaders focus too much on the external customer rather than focusing on the internal customer. But rather, the leaders should be focusing more on the internal customers. If internal customers are engaged and satisfied and happy, they will make the external customers happy and satisfied. Because leaders do not meet the customers, the followers who are meeting the customers. So we have to make the internal customer happy and satisfied, and that will be translated into the dealings with the external customer. All right. So that's very important. What I would like the viewers of this session now to take note. And work as a team, but lead from the front. So you have to work as a team as a leader, but you have to lead from the front. Empowered workplace. So now is about independent working. When you recruit somebody, the person has to be independent. No more coaching, no more training, no more advising and supervision. The person has to take his own responsibility. Devolve ownership and responsibility, right? Again, delegating ownership, responsibility. Unified purpose, mutual respects and regards. The leader who knows how to respect the followers will respect the leader. If leader expects the followers to respect him without respecting the followers, then we have a problem, all right? Because the leaders may not be always the eldest one in the organization. The youngest one could be the leader. So the leader must learn how to respect others, who work with him, okay? Self-motivation and can-do attitude. Anything we see, the leader should have the attitude like we can do it. In Malaysia, Tun Dr. Mahathir, when he was the Prime Minister, he had a slogan. He said, Malaysia boleh, Malaysia can. That was a very popular slogan in Malaysia. The attitude like anything we say we can do it. Malaysia can do it, So that kind of attitude is very good. A positive attitude, anything we see, rather than looking at the negative side, we say, okay, let's work together. We can do it. We should be able to do it. Okay, that kind of attitude should be there always with the leader. Good communication and information sharing. That is something very important soft skill that is required now in every organization. The leader should be very good in communication. In terms of his speech, when the leader speaks, everybody listen to him. The language is understandable. The information shared is easily transferable and translated by the followers. Okay, so good communication and information sharing, it's become very important now when you empower people to work for you. Open performance tracking and accountability, I think everything is getting online and it is understood. And now in the 21st century, the blame culture has replaced by lesson learned. Okay, ways of working. Oh, it's a wow, ways of working. So now we do not blame people for doing any mistakes. Rather, we say, okay, there was a mistake, there was an error, we learned that lesson. We will not repeat the same mistake again. So that kind of situation is there at the empowered workplace now. The competency required from the leadership is strategic visioning and the ability to share that. We know many leaders, they have good vision, but they do not know how to share it. We listen to many speeches, many deliveries, but we see how many takeaways we have. When we attend to a talk, we see some speakers will come and make you laugh and all that, but at the end, when you go back, you cannot find any takeaways. And some speakers will come with powerful speech. You feel like you would like to start slogan and all that, but again, when you go back, you don't see any takeaways. You forget about it after 1 or 2 days. So the leader should have the strategic vision and the ability to share, because what you want to achieve, if you cannot let others to know actually what you want, then how can they work to achieve it for you? So the ability to share the vision is also very important. Clear communication messages, success beyond narrow professional boundaries, leading by influence, not by controlling, creating alliance and devolved management, flexibility, versatility, take the lead, devolve the power. That's what it is. So now the world is moving towards flexibility and versatility, right? So it's all about you take the leadership, but with delegation and empowering the tasks and responsibilities to the followers. So now what kind of leadership characteristics you would like to see in this century? The leadership should be bold. The leaders should be bold, should be tenacious, should determine, should be charismatic, should be visionary, looking at the macro or macro view. We see many leaders, they look into nitty-gritty, smaller micro issues. That's not the leader's job. That the follower job they're supposed to be. So leadership position, we expect them to be visionary. They're supposed to say the vision, a mission, supposed to say the strategies and then let others follow. So macro view is expected from a leader. The leader is always assured and confident. Any problems comes in, he doesn't get frustrated. He doesn't show any worrisome face and all that. He is always confident that we can do it. Self-awareness, inspiring. You got to inspire people by your work. If I come always late in my office and I want our followers to be always on time, that's something we will never get. A parent who smokes and he wants his son not to smoke, it's impossible, because his son will learn from him. So a leader has to show the example, leadership by example, leadership by example. We have to inspire people by doing the right thing. We become a role model. Focus, we have to be focused in our work, rather than not doing too many things and not achieving anything from there. We have to have a specified prioritized job and we focus on the priorities set by the organization. Energetic and passionate, persuasive and influential. So these are the characteristics that is expected from the 21st century leadership. Remember, we said that automations are taking place in so drastic way that many of our jobs are taken away by machines and all that. Okay, so human being, if you really want to work and manage that, we got to be creative, we got to be innovative and all that. So to be like that, these characteristics are very important for a leader to have it. Okay. Now, leader behavior. What kind of behavior do we expect from leadership? Now, it's very important that leadership or leaders should be very good decision maker. They should be taking risks. At this moment, if you see changes are taking place so much and so such in a way that we got to be a risk taker. Leadership should be always, leadership should love to take risks. That's what we see now. Crossing the line of pushing the boundaries. We have to come out from the comfort zone. We have to work, we have to learn to work extra miles. That's what is important. We cannot simply just think of like coming at 9 and going back at 5. That is not the leader behavior. A leader doesn't mind coming on, with the weekly holidays or public holidays or any time as it is needed. And any work that require you to cross the line, that's what the leader is expected to do. All right. Joiner thinking and acting, team building, communicating, encouraging and motivating, leading by example. And finally, the most important one is saying thank you. I have seen many leaders in my short career. Followers, they do the job, and the leaders do not even acknowledge and recognize. Rather, the leader take it and portray it like it is done by him. I have seen many. Rather, we should be given the recognition, acknowledgement to the people who has done it, and we have to learn to say thank you. When, as a leader, we learn to say thank you, the followers will have similar behavior in an organization. So it is always, a kind of behavior that we expect from followers. Any good thing being done, we have to learn to say thank you. Leadership attitude. What kind of attitude is expected in the 21st century? Of course, challenging. Attitude is challenging. Establishing high standard for self and others. As we see the changes taking place, there is no reason for us to set low standard. When you set low standard, you are making yourself lethargic. You become lazy, and you are making your followers lazy. So we have to be energetic. We have to set high standard. We have to achieve something that is of high standard, and then our followers will be also working like that, working hard and achieving something that is expected of them. Okay, trusting. We have to develop some kind of relationship whereby we have to learn to respect and trust the followers. Okay. Now, this is a complaint always we see from the leaders that I cannot trust this guy, I cannot trust this guy. So this is the failure of a leadership, not developing the trust with the followers. So we have to create an environment, a situation, communication, networking has to be done in a way so that the trust is developed between the leaders and the followers. And the leaders must have the ability, capacity to delegate work. I see many leaders, they do many things, all right, and people surrounding them are not really doing many works. So I'm not sure why they have to do that. Followers are there to work for you. So as a leader, we must learn how to delegate works. Now, there will be always complain. The leaders will complain that I delegated this work, but he failed to do it. He is not qualified. He doesn't have the ability, doesn't have the capacity to do it. So how can I delegate to him? If the follower doesn't have the capacity or ability, then he should not be with you. He should not be with you. So in our recruitment process, got to be very stringent. We got to be very careful when we recruit then the followers then, all right? So people around the leader should be able to do any task given by the leader. So that's delegating is very important. So when you delegate work as a leader and you see they cannot do it, then you take it over and then you do it, then you are not an effective leader. You are not a productive leader. You are not an efficient leader. So an efficient, productive leader will just delegate it and followers will get it done. That's how the environment is being created. Promoting learning. Okay, so if anybody does any mistakes, then we should just tell them, okay, we learned the lesson and let's continue. We learned the lesson, we'll not repeat the same thing again. Empowering and welcoming diversity. Now, what kind of style we expect from leaders in this century? The leaders should provide clear direction and support, manages through influence rather than control, maintains a broad understanding of context and situation, keeps a working overview of issues, give considered and timely advice to followers, able to work in a pressured and political environment. This has become very important. The whole world, almost every country in the world, the political environment become totally different. Somehow, the government would like to control more and more things. So with social media and all those that we see advanced technology, things are becoming very transparent and more transparent and all that, and that makes the government to enact and more laws and legislations to control people more. So when you are working in an organization, you are working with many different acts and legislations with that. So a leader got to learn how to work with that pressure situation. Say, for example, University Vice Chancellor, he has certain laws and acts and legislations, rules that he got to follow from the university itself. And then certain things are there outside the environment, which is expected him to work with them. All right. So it is a very difficult kind of situation that we have. So if you want to become a productive, efficient leader, then we have to learn to work in the pressure and political environment that we have now. Has a strong communication and presentation skills. All right. As a leader, we're supposed to communicate very well. Anybody come in touch with us, they get the message that the leader would like him to know. If the messages are transferred which is vague and unclear, then definitely we cannot get the expected outcome that is expected from a follower. All right. And as I said, that we know the many knowledgeable people, they know a lot, but they do not really know how to present the ideas and knowledge and all that. So knowledge is gained for the purpose of transferring it. So knowledge transfer only takes place when your presentation skills are very good. So a leadership or a leader expected to have strategic visioning, and his communication and presentation skills will make it happening. All right. So that's very important for a leader to embed with communication and presentation skills. A leader should be very persuasive and influential, effective and tolerant of interpersonal skills. This is another very important point that we got to learn. We got to be tolerant on interpersonal skills. We meet different people with different cultures, with different religion, with the different age groups and different gender and all that. So different people have different kind of attitude and all that. So we have to be tolerant of accepting everyone. So when we assume leadership position, we have to make sure that we treat everybody equally. And that only happens when we are tolerant. When we are tolerant and we show mature kind of dealings with the staff. And the most important one now that we need in the 21st century is the analytical and creative mindsets. All right, analytical and creative mindsets. So much of data is available outside there. We got to be really analytical and creative to analyze those information data available and drive the organization for better growth. Okay. Now, leadership habits. The habits that we need now in this century, 21st century, I put it as read, read, and read. I think because of this stupid handphone, we are always with handphone, and whenever we touch the handphone, we go to the Facebook. Many of us, we will go to Twitter and whatnot. There's so many, Instagram and Telegram and so many. So rather we read important things that we need. We waste our time in the Facebook. We post a banner or information, and then every 1 hour, half an hour, we look at see how many likes, how many comments are there, and all that, wasting time. All right. I remember that there was one of my PhD students who were doing PhD with me was so mad with the Facebook. Everybody spent 4 or 5 hours. He could have finished PhD within 3 hours, 3 years, but it took him about 5 years because of just being too mad with the Facebook, too busy with the Facebook. So we now actually should, the social media that is with us now, we should be reading more, newspapers, posts, reports. There are different books available every day. We see new books are published and all that. If we review the lifestyles and life history of the most successful leaders in the world, the most important behavior they had in common is reading. They used to read a lot. Okay, so if as a professor in marketing or finance, then we should be reading the latest paper published today. We should be reading by today. If a new book is published this year, we should be using this book to teach the student rather than using the old notes and old books. Okay, so reading is important behavior that we expect from the leaders because things are changing so fast. So we have to keep abreast with the changes taking place in the society. All right, so there's no other option than read, read and read. We have to read and read, okay? Mix with different people. What happens as human being? We love to mix with people with similar characteristics and all that, but it doesn't help. Because when you work in an organization, we have diverse people, different thinking, different religion, different age groups, and different genders, and all different, you know. So we have to learn to mix with different people so that we understand how to cope with different character, different people and all that, okay? Now, keeping your diet fresh and nourishing, that's what is very important now, right? We see the food that we eat in Bangladesh is very common. You have most of the food are not really, you know, so we have to bring it at home and being used, formalin being used and all that. You wash and all that. So you have to be careful with the kind of diet you take. Many of us, we go for fast food, and which is being kept in the fridge for a long time and all that doesn't really help. It creates a lot of health problem and issues. Now we see more and more people becoming diabetic, having high blood pressure, and many other diseases are there. Okay, so fresh diet is very important. Okay, make time for brief chats with corridors at the coffee machine, invaluable for keeping up with the budge. So basically, you are saying keep some time for yourself. Give some time for yourself. Sit down, think about what is going on, how you are keeping, you know, how you are working, the way the life is going, and what you like to achieve in future and all that. Give some time for you, and exercise your body as well as your mind. That's really, really important. I see many people, you know, because of the work pressure and all that, we forget that our health is the most important thing that we have to keep in. When you become unhealthy, your organization may not keep you there. Okay. And you know, mind also, you got to really be careful. Keeping your mind cool and focus in work is very important. Many doctors will advise us that we should be doing at least 30 minutes to 1 hour exercise every day. And meditation is one of the very important elements now to keep our soul, our body strong. Bill Gates, he starts the day with meditation. Oprah Winfrey, start with the day with meditation. Like many successful people in the world, the meditation is very common. 30 minutes meditation before going to bed or after waking up. No, so meditation coupled with exercise, 30 minutes to 1 hour, will keep us healthy and strong. Because leaders got to be strong because we got to influence others. All right, we do not show the weakness of the body that, you know, in terms of body, in terms of mind. If we show the weakness, the followers definitely will not be influenced and motivated to work with the kind of outcome we'd like to get. And finally, the final leadership habits that we'd like to see is definitely we have to remember our family. While working for the company we work is important, but we cannot neglect the family. Remember, when you come back, it is the family that takes care of us. You know, when we become sick, the company doesn't take care of us, the family. Our relationship with wife and kids, it has direct effect with the work habits we have in the organization. If my relationship is very good and lovely with the wife, then your working place, your behavior with your colleagues and followers will be different, you know. And if you are having bad relationship with your family members, wife or kids, and definitely you would be always worried. And when you are working, your mind is always back at home. You don't feel really well, and you are a bit too tempered and all that. It be shown in the work habits. All right. So while you are working in an organization, these habits are very important now in the 21st century. As I have read few papers arguing that hopefully once the COVID is over, 70% world population could be exposed to diabetic. If that is true, that assumption is true, then I think those of us now know about it. We should be focusing on that, to exercising regularly in terms of body, exercise of mind. So walking or running outside, or even treadmills at home, or meditation in the morning or evening, that keeps you strong, healthy, and safe. All right, and be good with the family. Keep good relationship with the family. Spend quality time with the family. All right, the wife and kids, our mothers, our parents, those are very important to keep us motivated, so that we become strong, healthy, so that we can motivate others and influence others. All right, and finally, this is my last slide for today's talk. we have to, as a leader in the 21st century, as Socrates says, right, know thyself. We must know who we are. So we have to know our values and beliefs. We have to have certain principles and have to promote those principles. We have to be proud to stand up for the integrity. We have to protect our personal hallmark, continuously develop your learning, guard your reputation, and have confidence and go for it. Okay. So as a leader, we have to have some important values and beliefs in us, principles in us. We have to be a professional, and we have to have the integrity, and we have to have personal hallmarks, and from there we guard our reputation and we continue leading people. Remember, as we said from the beginning, leadership is all about influencing and motivating people. If you want to influence and motivate people, then we have to be a role model. And when we want to be a role model, it has to be embedded with the values, beliefs, principles, integrity, and all that. All right. I hope with that short speech, there will be some takeaways from you. Those of you are with me now, and those of you are in the leadership position. I hope I have given some clues to improve the leadership style that we have. And those of us are working even at the down level, at the operational level. The 21st century. Remember, I said earlier at the beginning that everybody is a leader. Everyone is a leader. Okay. So we have to assume that leadership thinking and mind in ourselves, and whatever job that we do, whatever task is given, responsibility is given, we have to do it as a leader. We make decision, we implement it, and we show the outcome to our superior. All right. With that, I would like to conclude my speech and pass it to Izaz. All right. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, and good evening. In Malaysia, it's now 6:22. So please stay safe and be healthy, and hope, inshallah, the COVID will be over soon. Right. It's just the session is
Thank
with now.
you.
With you now.
Thank you, sir. Good evening from Bangladesh. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. Basically, the highlighted points, bullet points you have mentioned in all over the presentation about what are the leadership qualities and what are the ways and what are the personalities of a leader. You mentioned about charismatic leadership. This is something inborn capacity. But I have one question to you, sir. That is it possible to be charismatic? Is it possible to learn charismatic leadership, sir, or it is inborn?
Well, it is argued that charisma or charismatic leaders are born, but I personally don't believe in that. I personally feel that charisma can be developed. Okay, say for example, some charismatic leaders, they are very good speaker. For example, like Hitler, if you look at his speech, Bangabandhu, if you look at his speech, that is the charisma they had in terms of his speech. Can we become a good speaker by learning? I think it's possible, right? It's
Yes, sir,
possible.
of course possible. Yeah.
Possible. So meaning that a charisma can be earned, can be learned, definitely. It is not really always born. Personally, I believe in 99% inspiration and 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So 99% hard work and 1% luck. That's what I believe. So if we work hard and we like to learn some kind of charisma, I'm sure we can develop that kind of charisma in us.
Exactly, sir. And I also believe the same that it's all about efforts. There is nothing to do with merit. If efforts counts merit basically, and definitely, thank you for the inspiration, sir. Basically, we see the success of leaders, and we think it is inborn, it is automatic, it is natural, but we never see the hard work behind a leader, behind the success of a leader. That's why we think and we claim being lazy that it is inborn genius. I have nothing to do. I have nothing to improve. So, with your last note, we will conclude, sir. Is there anything you want to say in one sentence to your audience?
All right. I think the situation we are in now, uh, anyone is in the leadership positions are struggling. So at this struggling and trouble moment, I have tried to share some of the ideas that I feel could be helpful. So I hope that those viewers were with us have benefited a bit, from the talk. Then I would say that my preparation, the sharing was successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. We have so many enthusiastic learners today. They have commented over Facebook, and they want to learn more. I would like to thank every single one who are watching us. And finally, again, we will expect you in different sessions in future. Professor Dr. Ramadan Islam. Thank you, sir. Thank you.